Hello there. A quick video, a little vlog from me to give you a little update on the Patreon project that I'm working on. I was going to release that today. That was my plan. It was what I was aiming for. But I've had some technical issues going on and I don't think it's feasible anymore. The thing is that I've been working with this video editing software for years, Power Director. And it works for me. It works, I can almost do it blind. But for some reason, every time I produced a video, because what I did is I first made all the videos and I first made them into projects. So I edited them all and I left them standing to produce and then upload. And I was doing that yesterday. When I produced the first video, I was in for a shock because I had not changed the settings at all. There was nothing I did any differently than I normally do. But the video that came out was rubbish. It was horrible quality. The sound and the video itself, it was almost like Minecraft. It was all pixelated. And I was like super surprised. So I tried to find out what was wrong. I couldn't find anything out. So I started to change all the settings and see if I had done something wrong. Whatever I tried, everything came out like that. I looked for online for problems that maybe the software has. Nothing. And then I went back to my log. I keep a log. It's this year I use a Moleskine. And I write in this log what I do every day instead of doing, a things to do list or a bucket list or anything. I keep a log of all the things I have done. So I went back in my log from a couple of years ago, and I noticed that at the time I was using Magix, and I had exactly the same problem at the time. That was when all of a sudden the software no longer supported the video, the video files that I was producing for some reason. And I think it has everything to do with such companies wanting you to update and upgrade to a newer version or something like that. I'm not sure, but that's what I at the time thought it was. And that's when I was a little bit angry because it was also the thing that YouTube had just changed something about its requirements. And my Magix version, which was at the time about 3 years old, didn't support that. It was simply not modern enough. So I had to buy new video editing software. And that's when I bought Power Director, because I was a bit mad at Magix for the fact that they didn't update their existing software packages for their customers. So you would have to spend that amount of money again. It is not really a very expensive software, but it was a matter of principle. And then I bought Power Director, which was much more stable and works like a charm in principle. Not yesterday and not today. So the thing is that I have so many videos lined up ready to be produced, and like when you edit a video, what you do is in this editing environment, you sort of give commands to the software where you say, make this video clip this long, make the speed, this is how I want the lighting to be, I want that title, I want, these effects, blah, 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 to make it look great. And then when you push the button produce, that's when the editing software starts carrying out all your commands and makes it into a really nice video. And that's where something obviously went wrong. And so I've got all these videos lined up, I've got all the commands in it, but my software isn't working. So then what do? First thing I did was check to see if I could export the project files to another video editing package, so that another video editing software package would carry out the commands. Of course, they don't. They each have their own project files format, so no other, I couldn't export them anywhere. So then the only options are either you learn to solve the problem in the existing software, or you buy a new editing software package, and then you have a very steep learning curve and you just do it all over again. Well, the last one wasn't very attractive, but what I decided to do was I had this one little video that I hadn't edited yet. It was a very small job and rather straightforward. So I edited that and I produced that in Adobe Elements, Premiere Elements. And that worked fine, but I was just really not ready to have to edit all those videos all over again, because it's a lot of work. It's horrible. It slows down your computer tremendously, because it requires a lot from your processor speed. There's basically little else you can do on your computer while you're editing videos. And sometimes when you have when your editing software isn't very stable, it will just shut down all the time. It's a drama. Everyone who edits video knows this. But anyway, and then I just decided to go online and look for the solution, and see if other people had the problem too. If maybe there was, I don't know, problem with the software. Couldn't find anything. And then I decided to grab the first project I wanted to produce yesterday, and I did. All I did, I changed no settings at all. All I did was push produce. And it did produce, and it pooped out a really great video. Very good quality. And I still don't know how it works. So then I tried to do the second one, and that was a problem again. So what it boils down to is that I have all these videos ready for you, ready for the Patreon to launch, and they're not yet produced. So right now, I'm at video number, I've edited and produced and uploaded 3 videos, but I have some more because there are 3 tiers, and I need to have them all ready to launch so that everyone who wants to take a look can already see a video there. I mean, it's no good buying into a tier where you don't have any content, right? So no, I'm going to wait until I have all the content published and ready, and I'm still looking for the solution, although I'm sort of also trying to lean in on the idea that I might have to re-edit everything. I spent so much time behind my computer today that I've decided I'm going to go to my painting table in a minute and do one of the painting projects that I wanted to demo right now, because I need to loosen up the shoulders a bit, because I'm all stiff because this morning I've been cursing and yelling so hard against my computer. This poor thing needs a little bit of rest. And me too. No, but really, I really need a little bit of mental rest right now, because I've been incredibly frustrated and angry. It's like I've been wanting to start this project for so long, and then my daughter walks in and says, "Mum, I want to move quickly." And I say, "Okay, we'll make sure you can." And oops, 1 month later, she's gone. And I was really tired and like adjusting to the idea that my eldest child flew out of the nest, which was kind of emotional. And well, okay, so then I'm back at work, and now I've got my editing software being a bitch. It's like, it's sort of like I'm being put to the test, right? Do you really want this? Are you really sure? Yes, I want this now. Anyway, okay, so another good thing, because this is all, I know this is, one thing that really helps getting yourself through this amount of frustration is to know that very soon it will all be over and everything will be solved. This is not worth, getting a headache over. It really isn't. So I'm trying to just say, calm down and breathe. That's what I did this morning. I just tried to breathe and stay quiet and calm and accept the fact that sometimes things go wrong. Okay. What's really great and what I'm super excited about is that this is my normal tripod that I use to film overhead. And what I have is there is a console here in the middle that holds my camera. And a couple of years ago, I bought a horizontal arm so that my camera can face down that way to film my work. But as you can see, there will always still be this tripod on my table. And what you can see happening in some of my videos, I even saw it in some of the videos that I was editing for the Patreon is that sometimes I bump my elbow against the tripod, so you can see the image shake. I don't like that. I'm sort of a perfectionist when it comes down to that. I mean, I know there's lots to learn about lighting. Like right now, I could have used a lamp on this side of my face, but and on sound, and there's a lot yet to learn. But you know, one step at a time. I can't do everything perfect from the get-go. I'm not a videographer, you know, but I'm learning. I'll get there in the end. But I have another problem, because I'm folding it out the way it normally stands when there is a heavy camera on it. It's this wide, so that's quite wide. This, by the way, is a weight. So the camera will always be opposite to the weight that way. And the weight will help stop the tripod from toppling over. That happened. It's experience. That's why I attached a weight in a very, very, very professional and sturdy way with duct tape and some kitchen towels. Whoops. So, but there was another problem. I found myself looking at a new set of watercolor paints this week. I was looking for a 48 half-pan set by either Rembrandt, Horodam, Winsor & Newton, or Sennelier. Or, well, I was kind of open for everything, preferably something new, but no other brands that I know of produce 48 half-pan sets, artist quality. So, and it had to be a relatively small box, because you see, I have enough paint for the rest of my life. That's not the problem. The problem is that I have full sets, you know, full collections, and those are all in wooden boxes, 2 or 3 per brand. And the thing is, when you already have this on your desk, and there is paper, and there is lights to film, and everything, there isn't just no room for me anymore. So I found myself bumping into everything and tipping over glasses of water and everything more and more often. And also, one of the things I want to show on my Patreon is watercolor and mixed media, the combination. And when you work with mixed media, anyone who works with mixed media is going to say, You're just going to cram your desk with lots and lots and lots of art supplies because you've got everything at hand. So how am I going to fit in there? So I thought I just need a smaller paint box. So I was looking at that, and it's a lot of money, right? So my husband walks in. He said, "What are you doing? Are you looking at new paints?" I said, "Yeah, well, I've got a problem." And he goes like, you know, any excuse to buy new paints. But then I showed him. I said, "Look," and I put down everything I had on my desk, everything I normally use for a video. And he goes like, and he saw it really is a problem. So then we started thinking about things, how to solve it, and then we came up with the idea we were going to buy a camera rig for on the ceiling, you know, like we thought, you know, that you can buy a rig for a curtain that's going to set you back, you know, what, $20, $30 or something. So I thought, let's buy an L-shaped rig, maybe 100, 150 euros, who knows? 1,100 euros. And that was without the sort of the feet, the things that hold it to the ceiling and hold it from the ceiling. Man, that was expensive. And that was just a piece of iron, you know, an iron tube, an iron frame. That's all it was. And it wasn't even big because it's not big. So then my husband goes like, yeah, well, maybe you should just take that white table, drawing table, put it in the middle of your room, and then you can put your camera and your lights behind it. That would be perfect. That's how most people film overhead. But the problem is I'm working in a really long and narrow space, so all my tables are against the wall. That's not for nothing. I don't have the luxury of putting any furniture, you know, say 90 degrees from the wall. There's just no space. And if I do that, my camera and my lamps will be in the middle of the room. And we also have a bulldozer type of dog, as some of you may know. So I already envisioned, I saw my camera falling and the lamps falling. I thought, oh no, that's not going to be a good idea. So then my husband goes like, well, your camera will have to go on the ceiling. So that's when a long, long journey began of finding that, well, what's it called? Do you know what it would be called? you know, some sort of a device or contraption to attach your camera to a ceiling and still keep it moving? Because we could find things going straight down, no problem, but I need it to be able to move and to adjust high and low. And then we found a videographer here in the Netherlands who has a studio and who sells this kind of things. And well, he had come up with something smart. So the next morning I called him and I said, look, I don't know any of the good words, but so please hear me out. And because this is what I do, this is my problem, and this is what I need. I don't know the names for it. I don't know if it exists, but could you please help me think of something? And was such a nice guy. He really took the time to not only explain to me what I needed, but he actually went into his storage space and he started unpacking things and trying to see if combinations fit together. And in the end, he sent me a combination of a really good clamp and a boom arm, a boom arm that would go on the wall for lamps. But he said, with a certain clamp, we can adjust it and make sure your camera can be attached. And that's exactly what we have now. I mean, it's not on the ceiling yet. I can't show it to you because he sent it to me on Friday. So I was hoping my husband could do it this weekend. But then it only arrived. It went by UPS and they don't deliver on Saturdays here in this area. So I had to wait until Monday. And now my husband's busy working. And the thing is, we have like... I don't know what it's called, plasterboard or something, or gypsum. It's like you have the plasterboards from the wall, and we have that on the ceiling. So that can't hold a lot of weight. So my husband bought I don't know what it's called. These are all technical terms I really don't know the names of in English. But like a piece of wood, wooden board, and he's going to screw it against the wall, against the ceiling, where we have the beams over the plasterboard, and then we can screw the contraption that we bought into the board. And we're going to make it so big that when there's enough patrons in my Patreon, I can buy a set of studio lights, LED studio lights, because the real studio lights, the big ones, don't fit over my worktop, but LED lights would. But they're about, I think, 200 each, or 150 to 200 each. But for now it's going to be summer, so the light circumstances are going to be relatively okay there with the lights I already have. But then in the future, to be able to offer a more constant quality of video and colors, I'm going to put up some lights there on that same board that we've already taken into account. We should make a bit bigger so we can expand whenever it is my need to expand. So, I'm learning as I go. It's quite funny. It's quite nice to do all these discoveries. So I think the only thing I could say is about Patreon. Why Patreon? Something that someone asked me this week. Why are you going to Patreon? Excuse me. I think the thing is that, I need an income. If I don't make an income like this, I will have to go find work somewhere and no longer do this work. I won't be able to offer any inspiration anymore this way. And the thing is that I've been doing that on YouTube, and I've had a little bit of YouTube income, but only a little bit. And I've been having some dilemma. There is a dilemma about that. And then I decided that I want to remain independent on YouTube. So I do not want to start getting income from affiliation or sponsorships. I did consider that because I did get a couple of offers to do so, and I just don't want to do that, because I think what's important to me is to remain independent and to have 100% honest reviews. If I tell you what my experience is, that is my experience, and I'm not telling you something to butter you up for getting a certain product. So that, and also I myself am horribly annoyed by all the ads, and I was chucking in all the, well, I wasn't chucking in the ads. The only thing I did was say, well, this video is eligible for monetization. And I wanted to get rid of that for a while now. And also I wasn't making enough to keep doing this, basically. So, and the other thing is that I also feel that, you know, there are people in areas or in situations who can't afford to spend money on online courses or Patreons or communities whatsoever. And I still want to be able to inspire them. I still want to be able to help them decide, you know, if people save up a long time to buy certain art supplies, I want to be able to afford to offer them a really genuine review. And I still want that review to be there, available and free for people to see. So all in all, there was this sort of like this idea about, okay, let's just start something new, something that also lives up to my expectations of, you know, an online inter-inspiring community, all about watercolor and mixed media. And well, as we go along, there's going to be a lot about techniques, and there's going to be a lot about, you know, visual storytelling, etc. That will always be in there, because I do both, you know, art, going from abstract art to watercolor art, and I also do illustration work. So there will be all of that in there. And I wanted to offer a place for people who are really into watercolor and mixed media, or just watercolor, and who wanted to develop their style, who wanted to, you know, learn more and experiment more and play more. And so that's what I wanted to do. And I considered online teaching, but the thing is that for me, teaching begins after I deliver all the content. That's when the interaction between me and the student begins. And with online teaching, that's a lot harder. So I decided I'm going for online community. I'm going for a Patreon, in which it's going to be much easier to have this interaction between me and my patrons. And well, I'm not going to tell you everything yet, because I really want to do that in a video, because I've got it all written out and I've got it all lined up. So I don't want to give all of that away yet. But yeah, that's why the Patreon. And I really think this can offer you guys something very great, but that is also something like when you're making art, when you're an artist, you need to do work that fuels yourself as well. If you're only working for the outside world, you'll dry up very quickly. There are so many artists that I've seen working for Patreon or YouTube or Instagram, whatever, and they have been drying up completely. I've seen a couple of artists go burnout lately, a lot of artist block, a lot of anxiety, depression. And the thing is, it's just very easy when you're constantly focused on the outside world. So I figured when I am on a Patreon, what I can do is show my own process. So I can stay in my own process and share it with you. And I think in a way that really benefits you too as a viewer, because you are in the process with me, and that can stimulate you to be in your process rather than me telling you, so this is what we do, A to Z. So this is going to be a lot about process and about sharing the processes that we go through. And it doesn't matter whether you're very experienced or whether you're just new. You know, newbies will maybe skip a few steps in their development, and very experienced artists may find that working with newbies in a community can result in some very exciting discoveries about play and discovery. Just to refer to my own experience about my own art, is when I go back to my art journals from, you know, the early days, 15 years ago. Oh, no longer. But anyway, when my drawing skills were much, much poorer than they are now, is that because my drawing skills were very poor, I had to learn to do a lot with the little I could do. And that meant that I had to be super creative. So if I couldn't draw a woman sitting on top of a horse, I would have to find another way to draw that woman or the horse, portraying, the other one, or portraying a situation. And that resulted, I think, in sometimes very surprising and creative solutions that were much more original than when you're a really good artist, when you've developed your skills. Sometimes you find yourself going straight into a cliche because you know how to draw it, so you go with your first thought. And sometimes when you are not so good at what you want to do, you have to work your way around it. You find much more creative and much more charming solutions that that can be, in a way, more of a treat to the eye. So yes, I think it's going to be really wonderful to be in an exchange. You can do it on your own. You can exchange. There are no obligations when you join my Patreon. It's not like you have to do homework or anything. But I think that if we're in there, we're going to take most out when we partake in that. And well, if you can't do it for a month, you can't do it for a month. Like I said, no obligations, but I think it's going to be very tempting and inviting and inspiring anyway. So well, I'm doing my best to create videos to lure you in on the creative process and to just sit there and show up and be part of your own process and share that with everyone. Because it's just lovely being in a group. I think I decided I was definitely going to go through with it because I've been in such a group for graphic novel writers. I've been writing on some books for years now, and most were written books, but one idea was that for a graphic novel. And I find as I go that all the other ideas are sort of like seeping into that idea. And I found a really supportive group, a really supportive and inspiring group. And every time I come from a meeting with them, I'm just inspiration is just oozing from me. It's just wonderful to find yourself in a community that really understands where you are. And people who are really crazy about watercolor and mixed media and visual storytelling and making art. That's always great to be around. So anyway, I've been talking a lot again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna upload this project for you. No, this video for you. Sorry. And then I'm gonna film the demo video for the project. If you're interested in following me, then subscribe to my YouTube channel at least. Or if you want, you can also go to my website, which is myname.com, so mandyvangoeie.com. There you will find on the right side, you can subscribe to my newsletter, and then you will certainly have the first information about my launching the Patreon and all that's involved. I've decided to, my newsletter hasn't been active for a long time because I was sort of deliberating and I was just, waiting until I could really get started with the project. And I didn't want to constantly say, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But from now on, I'm going to be doing a monthly newsletter. So just one a month with some relevant updates and also some inspiration. So the moment you can enter my Patreon, there's going to be a newsletter for you so you can join me. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog and I hope it finds you well. Over here, the summer has begun. Today is a warm day, so all the windows are open and yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it from the studio, that is. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for watching and bye.